All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of the MMA Fight Picks with Ant and Jay. I'm Ant. This is my man Jay. We are going to be breaking down UFC 276 today. It is a banger of a card. We've had pretty fire cards the past couple weeks, so I look forward to breaking this one down. Look forward to watching this one. Look forward to hearing some of Jay's opinions and really just breaking down this card and enjoying some MMA. So, how you doing today, man? Everything good?
Yep, doing great. Ready to talk this amazing card. Definitely best of the year in my opinion. We'll see if it lives up to it, and hopefully we'll make some money on the way.
All right. Hopefully make some money on the way. That's always the bonus, right?
Yes, sir.
All righty. Let's jump right in. We start out with probably the least exciting fight on the card, but still not a bad one. Still not a bad fight at all. We got Jessica Rose Clark fighting Julia Storyalenko. Tail of the tape, break it down real quick. Julia Storyalenko is 5 years. It is a tough one. Is 5 years younger. She will have a 2-inch height advantage and a 2-inch reach advantage. So that will definitely play a role, I think, in the striking. The tail of the tape certainly favors Julija. Her past couple fights, she's on a 3-fight losing streak since she entered the UFC. I watched this fight, the Lisa Verzosa fight.
Okay.
And it was a decent fight. She showed that she had decent striking. She was decent at managing her range, but she's kind of just like a BJJ player. She just wants to sit on her back, go for arm bars. And, I mean, luckily, Julia Rose Clark did get arm barred in her last fight, so there is a potential there. So, yeah, I'm not sure how this fight goes. What do you think? I'm still not really sure, so I'd like to hear your thoughts. And
yeah. So I like Jessica Rose Clark in this. I think she should win, but honestly, it's hard to trust her after that last one. I think I bet against her too. I don't know what it is about her. I also think I heard her on the Ariel Helwani show, and she was talking about a bunch of the mental struggles she's had with her game recently. So I think it would be. I don't think it would be too smart to bet on her. I'm going to pick her probably by decision. I don't know if you remember, but Julia Stolyarenko, she had major trouble making weight. I don't know if she's one of those girls that like passed out like trying to make weight that one time. And she's 0-3 in the UFC, 0-4 including the Ultimate Fighter. So she's someone I don't think you can bet on. It's a close fight, I think. So I'm really gonna pass. But if you had to put a gun to my head, I'd probably say Jessica Rose Clark.
Yeah, I'm with you on here. Forgot to throw the ticker up. So I mean, as you can see, we're looking at Bovada lines, so a little bit different than what you'll see on the screen on Tapology. But Clark is 155. Storyalenko's plus 130. I think I side with Clark here. Just looking at Clark's resume, she's fought pretty quality. I wouldn't say quality, but she's fought decent competition. Nobody too bad. I mean, she's fought Jessica I, Paige Van Zant. She's fought Pani Kianzad, Sarah Alpar, Jocelyn Edwards. So, I mean, she's fought decent fighters.
Yeah.
I think that she should win this fight. I think this is one of those fights where it's like her fight to lose. I think it's not a bright idea for her to go down into the guard of Stolyarenko unless she's truly worked on her BJJ defense and can defend against that armbar, because I watched Stoliarenko's last fight against Alexis Davis today, and I watched her last fight on the regional scene, and literally it looked like the same fighter. She didn't develop. She didn't get any worse. She didn't get any better. She was just the same girl.
Yeah.
So yeah, I side Clark, but I think Stoliarenko's live.
Yeah, she's for sure live. The other thing is, I feel like Jessica Rose Clark used to strike, and she used to be pretty decent at it from like what I remember. But then her last 2 fights, she hasn't. Ever since she got back from her knee injury, she tore her ACL, I think.
Yeah,
She's
I think so.
been looking to. She became a wrestler, so I don't know. I wouldn't bet it.
Yeah,
Maybe goes to decision, but that's probably juiced.
Yeah, I think goes to the decision is probably the move. But yeah, like you said, it's probably
Minus
juiced.
210.
Yeah, the over-under is set at 2.5. Over 2.5 is minus 240. So it might be a decent parlay piece, but the way that Jessica Rose Clark looked against Stephanie Edgar and got submitted, I wouldn't even want to bet that it goes the distance because you really don't know how that's going to play out. It could go any way. And so we'll move on to the second fight of the night. We're both on Jessica Rose Clark for the first fight. It looks like, did they move the second fight Macy Barber now?
I don't think so, but I could double check real quick and let you know.
Okay, because Tapology has it now. Macy Barber and Jessica I's second fight of the night.
We can keep going this way, but I'll confirm.
Yeah, no worries.
Actually, yep, it is now.
Interesting. All right.
Because the two, these two, and then Andrew Muniz fight is on the early prelims.
Yeah, perfect. So we'll break down Jessica Evil Eye versus Macy the Future Barber. We got 2 the futures on this card, Macy and Ian Gary. So that'd be funny. Interesting to hear if people talk about that or commentary discusses that one. This fight is going to be really interesting. Tail of the tape is vastly different in terms of age. You know, Macy Barber is that young up-and-coming women's fighter who we've seen a lot of her so far in her young MMA career. She's had her ups, she's had her downs. Right now, she's on a big up. We have Jessica I on the other side, who's definitely on a struggle right now. Lost to Cynthia Calvillo, lost to Joanne Wood, lost to Jennifer Maia. She put up a decent fight against Jennifer Maia. I watched that fight back. I watched the Joanne Wood fight. I don't know. She got dominated by Joanne Wood. Joanne Wood had her best performance of her career. I mean, you could chalk it up to it was a bad performance. Some people just, have bad days. I don't know. But she's going to be 11 years older, Jessica I, that is. She is going to be the bigger woman, though. Jessica I has fought up, I'm pretty sure, at bantamweight before, which is the 135 division. And Macy Barber has fought down to the strawweight division, which is the 115. So Macy Barber, should be the smaller woman just naturally. This fight's interesting. I see Barber. She's the big favorite. She's minus 265 on Bovada right now, which it's just too much juice to lay for her, in my opinion. She has a loss against Roxanne Modafferi. Granted, she tore her ACL. She fought the whole fight.
Good night, man.
Can't really fault that. Good night. I love you. Can't really fault that. And then she lost to Alexa Grasso, who is an absolute stud. And then Miranda Maverick, she got the dub against. And that was a split decision, but it was a good win, I thought. And then the Montana De La Rosa, that was just complete domination. I don't know. If I'm betting this, I'm definitely leaning Jessica I. I think that she can get in Barber's face. She can pressure her. She can just walk forward. I think she can eat punches. And I think it's going to be – she'll make it tough for Barber. I don't think Barber's going to look like a minus 265 favorite. And I wouldn't be surprised if Barber loses. I honestly probably will put a small bet on Jessica I. Just because we've seen the past couple of weeks, Natalia Silva, Maria Oliveira, there's another women's fighter. I mean, even Talia Santos, like coming out here and just big dog odds women's MMA fights, just putting on and winning. So I think it's definitely worth a dog shot at plus 200, and I'm sure on Saturday it's going to be even higher. So maybe in that split decision.
Yeah. No, honestly, I was thinking that the other day. I was like, honestly, put a bet on both sides split, see what happens. Because I think Macy Barber should win, but like you said, the line is just insane. Like Jessica Eyes definitely fought the better competition. I think that Macy Barber literally lost to Miranda Maverick. She got outstruck there too. I mean, I remember the few times I watched her, I felt like she was just punching air, like a lot of the fight. She lost the first comeback fight, I think, against Grasso. But Grasso is really good, so I can give her a pass on that.
Yeah.
And then Miranda Maverick, I think, beat her. And I mean, Miranda Maverick's kind of proven not to be that high level of a flyweight than what we once thought she was. So yeah, I mean, like you said, Eyes probably worth it's worth a dog shot if you like her in the fight. I think this fight is definitely got a split decision maybe written on it, or it's a dominant 30-27 for Macy Barber. I don't know. She's been getting better. But I just don't have enough confidence to really trust her or that line.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing is she's 24 years old and she's getting better. And so there's huge potential for her to.
She looked really good in her last fight.
She did look really good. I agree. I think one thing that stood out to me is in the Macy Barber, when she fought JJ Aldridge. JJ Aldridge won that first round, and she pretty much won that first round just by pressuring Barber. And Barber just kind of was on her back foot the whole round. And when I watched Jessica Eye's fights, Jessica Eye, even in the fight against Jennifer Maia, when she got that massive gash cut open on her forehead.
Yeah, that was crazy.
She still was just pressuring forward the whole time. And so it just makes me – I saw Barber didn't like that, and Eye is going to do exactly that. So I don't know. It makes me hesitant on Barber. It makes me like Eye a little bit. My pick to win is Barber, but I don't know.
Barber by points is -115.
Yeah, I think Barber by points is probably the move if you're going to bet on it, and bet on Barber's side. But I think the value is definitely on Jessica Eye's side, and we've definitely seen the women's MMA dogs be coming through when they're like that plus 200 or above status. So that's where I'm rolling here. We'll jump to the third fight of the night. And this is when we're really starting to get to the bangers. Not that the women's fights aren't good fights, but we're probably not going to see vicious knockouts or dirty submissions. And in these next couple fights, honestly, the rest of the card is relatively all violence.
Yeah.
So we're going to break down this Uriah Hall primetime against Andre Sergipano Muniz. Right now, we have Uriah Hall. He's going to be 5 years older. He's going to have a 1 inch height disadvantage and an 1.5 inch reach advantage. He is the more experienced fighter technically, but it's only by 1 fight, and he's 5 years older. So he really doesn't have that much more professional experience than Muniz. He has more MMA, or not MMA, more UFC experience, but not professional mixed martial art experience. Muniz is a BJJ black belt practitioner. He's awesome at it. He's probably one of the best in the UFC, all of mixed martial arts. I mean, you got him, you got Charles Oliveira, you got like Mackenzie Dern, you have like Jacare Souza, like a couple other guys who are really savages, but those are like the top 4 that come to the top of my head. Paul Craig, another one that just come to the top of my head are just straight killers in the sub game. And this is another person who, you get on the ground with this guy and your arm can be broken, your neck can be snapped, not literally, but you can be choked out, put to sleep. Uriah Hall, great striker, powerful, kind of unorthodox, not wild, but I would say just different type of striking style. And so this fight's going to be interesting because if it's standing, I do think Uriah Hall has the advantage. However, Muniz is no slouch when it comes to striking on the feet. When he fought Eric Anders before the fight, went on the ground pretty quickly, but he looked decent.
Clock him. He clocked him with a good shot.
Exactly, he clocked him. And then Antonio Arroyo, that was a lot of stand up. He looked good in that. And then there was another fight against. Actually, it was the Antonio Arroyo fight. Yeah, that was what I was thinking. He looked good in that fight. It was a lot more stand up in there, and so I think he's decent. He's not as good as Uriah Hall, but he can hold his own. My pick here is Muniz. I think he wins. I think maybe betting Muniz by sub is potentially a cool bet to go on if it's plus odds, but if it's not
minus 112.
Yeah, see, I'm not touching minus 112 on that because Uriah Hall's never been subbed in his career.
Yeah.
And granted, he might have never fought a guy like this. I'm not sure I want to lay minus 112 on the sub for that. So I'm not really sure how I would attack this from a betting standpoint. I mean, I think Muniz should win. I think he can win the minutes, especially if he can get it to the ground. I think he can win those minutes. But I don't know. Like, how do you feel about laying like minus 300 on Muniz? Like that
it's one of those lines where it's like I'm not that confident.
It just doesn't feel right to me. Like I feel like just putting a half unit on Uriah Hall, and if you lose, you lose it. But if you win it, it's like, I mean,
plus 225 right now. Yeah, dude. But the only thing is, he's 38 years old in a month, man. That's pretty old. Yeah. He's only his last two wins are against Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman. We know that Chris Weidman fight won. I actually thought Chris Weidman was going to win that fight if if that fight actually played itself through. And then he got abused by Sean Strickland. 186 significant strikes landed and 4 takedowns landed by Sean. So I mean, I think Muniz is probably going to sub him in the first round, but if he doesn't, then Uriah Hall could drag him out and either finish him or win. Dude, Uriah Hall can knock him out in the first round. I don't know. This guy's only lost by knockout.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying is like,
might as well throw money on Uriah Hall.
Like I'm looking at this, and you have Muniz, who, I mean, I'm just gonna pull up Muniz's wins.
One of his wins is Jacare Souza, but he submitted Jacare Souza. No one has ever done that.
No, but if you look at him, he's pretty much sub or not sub or bust, but sub. Like he needs a sub. If not, he's either gets knocked out. I mean, I don't know. He got knocked out by Azamat Murzakanov, who knocked out Tafon and Shukli with that flying knee.
Yeah, no. The thing that I think that if this goes to the ground in the first round, he's submitting him. But if it doesn't, I don't know. He could get finished, or Uriah Hall can somehow win a decision by just poking him. You know what I mean, from distance.
Yeah, it's just tough.
Defending the takedown.
It's just tough for me because, like, this dude's never been submitted. Like, granted, he's never fought someone that good, but like on the ground that good. But
and then Muniz hasn't lost since 2016.
To never be submitted is pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if this line keeps getting juiced, who
has he fought that would really submit him though? Like maybe Gregor Mousasi, Derek Brunson, Robert Whitaker.
Well, so there's a couple guys on there that have
I mean, he hasn't really fought anybody that's like that crazy. Like Robert Whitaker's not looking for submissions actively. Derek Brunson's not looking for submissions actively. Gegard Mousasi is not looking for submissions actively. Paulo Costa, supposedly black belt's not looking for submissions. Jotko doesn't finish anyone. Anderson Silva is a striker. Vaughn Lewis,
no, but I mean, you just would think
he's not a submission guy. He's
in 27 career fights, he's just never.
Yeah, either ride Uriah Hall or ride first round submission by Andre Muniz, or like submission in round 1 or 2.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know. I would agree.
Look at his record. He's 17-10. He doesn't even have a great record.
No, well, he started out really slow. I mean, I remember like listening just to his story. He just started out slow and was not very good, and then kind of just had like that late. I mean, him and Jared Cannonier are very similar in like, for like Richard character arc. Like they're the same, like type of guy. All right, so we're both on Muniz, especially Muniz by sub. Honestly, Muniz by sub, I think it might be worth Muniz sub round 1, Muniz sub round 2. Both of those might be worthwhile. Depending on what the line is at, you might be able to get plus odds, good plus odds on both of those. Matter of fact, I'll check right now and see if that is out.
Not that it means anything, but I mean, it means a little something. Eric Anders has never subbed before, and he subbed him in the first round. That goes nothing.
Yeah, he had that good armbar. Muniz is round 1. Sub is plus 250. Round 2 plus 600. Round 3 plus.
Hope for the round 2. Bet on both.
Yeah, right.
Or I wonder. I mean, I bet Bovado will have a line that's like submission in round 1 or 2, or just finish in round 1 or 2, and that'll probably be like plus 300 or something like that.
Yeah, finish round 1 is plus 150. Bet online. All right, so next matchup, we got, what's this, 4th fight of the night? We got Brad Tavares against the South African Dricus du Plessis. So Tavares is pretty sure he is Hawaiian. He's 34 years old. He's 6'1" with a 74-inch reach. Du Plessis, nickname Still Knox. I'm guessing because that man knocks bulls out. He's 28 years old. He has a 76-inch reach, so he will have a 2-inch reach advantage. And he has the same height as Tavares. This fight is pretty much like the young gun against the old gun, right? The old bull against the new bull.
Yeah.
Like, I pretty much think that Tavares is, if you look at his past couple fights, he's not really fighting, besides Israel Adesanya, like he's not fighting top competition. He's fighting decent competition, but nobody great. Omari Akhmedov, he's killing it over there in the PFL right now. I remember he won me some money in his last fight. Antonio Carlos Jr., he's a decent
PFL.
Yeah, he's also in the PFL. He's decent, but he's nothing to brag home about. Tavares, his only losses, three of his losses have been by KO. He has solid stand-up. He doesn't look for takedowns, really. He has decent power, but he doesn't have KO ending power in Tavares. That is who I'm talking about. He has one finish, and that was in 2018. And then his other finish was in 2011. So, homie's not a finisher. And du Plessis, that's how he loses, is by getting finished. So, I think that du Plessis probably has the advantage in this fight because he's not going to get finished by Tavares. It's probably not going to be likely. And du Plessis has crazy power. Like, I don't know if you watched his two fights in the UFC, but he's sleeping guys like with these unorthodox punches. I mean, Trevin Giles, he looks like he barely touches him, but Trevin Giles goes out.
Yeah, he nuked him.
Nuked him. And so I think Duplessis will be the longer fighter. He'll have the more diverse kicks. He fights with that like controlled chaos, if you will. Like he looks like he's like just bum rushing in, like throwing wild strikes, but I think it's all controlled, like chaos. Like I think he knows what he's doing and it's calculated, and he wants to be doing that. So I have a bet on Duplessis. I think it's like 2.2 units to win 2 units, and then I also have a bet on him to win inside the distance, and then I have a bet for this fight to not finish. To finish inside the distance. I got it at plus money. It was like plus 105 not to go the distance. And so, I mean, I think that's kind of crazy to give plus money for a fighter who has never seen the scorecards. So, yeah, I'm on Duplessis. I'm on Duplessis big. I think that it's his time to shine. I think we've seen it with like Uros Medic against Omar Morales. Who's the other guy who just fought? The Australian dude.
Oh, Jack Madalena.
Yeah, Jack Madalena against Ameev. Like, I just think it's the UFC is trying to pump these big international stars, and they're feeding them these older UFC vets. And so I think this is another one of those matchups where that's going to be the case. Yeah. What about you? What you think?
Yeah, so I also have a bet on Dricus Duplessis. I like what I mean. He's been losing in both the fights that he won, that he ended up winning by knockout. But the guy just comes from crazy angles, man. Like I think that he's a stud. He has one knockout loss and he has one submission loss. I think he's in amazing shape, dude. I don't know if there's many other fighters in better shape than he is. Dude's yacked. And then Brad Tavares, he's had some solid wins. You know what I mean? He's kind of just the gatekeeper. I think that, Dricus is definitely going to run into some trouble eventually, but I think that he's going to find and land a shot here. Got head kick KO by Edmund Shabazi and Brad Tavares did. He's been finished a few times, so I'm going to lead Dricus Duplessis, but if by some reason he doesn't win, it's probably Brad by decision, I guess.
Brad by decision, you think?
Yeah.
I can definitely see that. I see a lot of people think that, Tavares can't be taken down, which is definitely, a fair assessment. I don't know. He hasn't fought in almost a year. It's been it'll be a year, a little bit less than a year, like 8 days less than a year.
Yeah.
He's just not active enough for me to like.
4 fights got canceled for him.
Yeah. Well, he had the Brendan.
I forget, but I know Gastelum canceled on him, Hernandez canceled on him, and Muniz canceled on him. So I wouldn't say it's been his fault, but he hasn't fought in a year.
Oh, no. Well, yeah, no, I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about Brad.
Yeah, but they both haven't fought. But yeah, he had these 3. He had 4 fights.
They both fought in the same night, I think, didn't they? Yeah, they both fought in the same night last time. That's funny. Weird coincidence.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I'm on Duplessis. You're on Duplessis. I think Tavares he's a good fighter, but I just don't think it's for him. I don't think this is the matchup for him. I think when you're a chinny guy and you've proven that you get knocked out, and the UFC has an up-and-coming international fighter who's knocking fools out, I think we know what. Yeah. I think we know what they want. They want the UFC wants Dricus Du Plessis to put Brad Tavares on his ass, put him to sleep, and have South Africa like we have a star because I mean we see how it is with Izzy and all those boys.
Yeah, it didn't work out for JP, so they got to bring in Dricus.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. We're moving on. We're getting up the card, getting some more exciting fights. This is one of the more underrated cards on the fight. Not really too sure how I feel about this, so I'm definitely going to be eager to hear your opinion. We got Ian Gary against Gabe Green. Tail of the tape. Let's break that down. Let me pull up the banner real quick. All right. Break that down. We got Ian Gary's at 24 years old, 6'3". He has a 74-inch reach. Gabe Green will be the smaller man. He's 4 inch shorter, and he will have the 1 inch reach disadvantage. Ian Gary is just kind of shot out of a rocket, jump into the UFC. He had that finish against Jordan Williams. I will say he was losing that entire first round. He was getting tagged up. If he didn't finish Jordan Williams, I don't really know how that fight would have continued. Not saying he would have lost that fight. Not saying he wouldn't have gotten a knockout eventually, but not really sure how that would have been because he was getting touched up left and right. It wasn't looking pretty for him. And so this fight's interesting because Gabe Green's tough. Gabe Green's going to come forward for 15 minutes. He does not get tired. When I say does not get tired, I mean does not get tired. Like he was getting punched in the face, took a fight, UFC debut, short notice against Daniel Rodriguez.
D-Rod.
Took a beating and was still pressuring Daniel Rodriguez the entire time. So it's going to be interesting to see a young guy in Ian Gary, 24 years old, how he can handle that pressure. And then you have the regional scene. Gabe Green has tons of submissions on his record. So then you're like, okay, can Gabe Green come out here and submit Ian Gary? Or can Gabe Green come out here and hold him on the ground or whatever? You know, there's a lot of possibilities, but he has a couple rear naked chokes on his. There's about 5 rear naked chokes on his record. So, and I mean, one's against a guy who's 14-7, against a guy who was 7-5. So I mean, guys who have decent records who have experience. So I think Ian Gary is the rightful favorite. He has the youth on his side. He has the length on his side. He probably has the power and the speed advantage on his side. But that's the beautiful thing about mixed martial arts is that cardio is also a weapon. And I think cardio is going to be a weapon in this fight. I think Gabe Green is going to push an insane pace. I think Gabe Green is going to mix in the takedowns. I don't think he's getting knocked out. I don't know if you remember the Lioness fight. He got dropped by Lioness twice. And
Yeah.
Gabe Green got up. He got up like he was like, okay, like he took it like a champ and got right back up. So I'm really thinking that I don't know. Yeah, I think Gabe Green wins. I think Gabe Green wins a greasy split decision. The UFC wants Ian Gary to win. I don't know if Gabe Green's the guy that. I don't know if Gabe Green's the guy that's gonna give that win to Ian Gary. He's not a slouch, you know. Jordan Williams was a slouch. Darian Weeks, I believe his name was. Darian Weeks is
not a slouch, but he's
not a slouch, but he was like he has 5 pro fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he had 5.
Lost to Barberina, and he lost to Barberina, so it's
Yeah.
not the best look either. But
and he had 5 fights
He's
going
new.
into the Ian Gary fight. Exactly, he's new to the sport, so I just think this is just different. I think Gabe Green's going to be a big test, a big step up, and I truly, truly think that pressure of Gabe Green is going to be something that he's never dealt with before because Gabe Green was a pressuring mother sucker. So I'm going Gabe Green here. What do you think?
All right. Here's my bold take of the card. Ian Gary knocks this motherfucker out. Johan, I had a small bet on him, and I actually thought he almost knocked him out. It was really close. I think Ian Gary's bigger, longer, more athletic. I think he has a solid gas tank. He's been 3 rounds. He might have even been 5 in Cage Warriors. I could be wrong off that. But I think he's just the future, man. I definitely think there's going to be a time to fade him. I just don't think Gabe Green's the right one.
Yeah, that's definitely fair.
I think he's going to catch him coming in. I think he's going to counter him.
Yeah, see, and I can see that. I mean, that's how he got tagged with Johan Lioness. I mean, even Philip Rowe hit him, tagged him, but Gabe Green he has a chin, and he's one of those guys who I think knows it, and so he deliberately takes these shots, like actively knowing, like, I can take this shot. Even if I get dropped, I'm fine. But yeah, if somebody is to put Gabe Green out, Ian Gary has the power to do so. He has 2 first-round losses.
Yeah, Jalen Turner knocked his full out at 155.
Yeah, and so
if he fought at 155, there's no way in hell Ian Gary would ever make 155. And I know he looked like he was about to get knocked out against what's his name, Williams. But Williams knocked out RoboCop. And look at RoboCop now. RoboCop is a stud. So.
No, Jordan Williams hits hard. And I just was saying more. He was getting tagged up, like he just was getting outstruck on the feet. It just didn't look good.
True. No, you're right. I was not. I had a bet on that night, and I was nervous.
Yeah, but he slept him, and he did what he did. So he got the dub. But I'm gonna go Gabe Green here. Step up and talent for Ian Gary, and I just think a fighting style that I try to watch even some of the regional scene tape. I haven't seen really Ian Gary pressured like crazy outside of the Jordan Williams fight. And I think Green is better than Williams.
There's a reason it's a close line.
No, yeah, for sure.
But hey, the future parlay, Macy Barber and Ian Gary, it's a guaranteed lock. The future parlay.
Let me check something before we jump into this fight, folks. I just want to take a look and see, like on Bovada or DraftKings, Ian Gary opened up at minus 150. So
it hasn't been moved that much then.
No, he opened up on Bet Online minus 175. All right, so we'll move on to the next fight here, folks. We have a rematch. We have what is this? The second rematch on the whole card.
Yeah.
First one of the night, second rematch on the card. Yep, we got Donald Cowboy Cerrone against Jim A1 Miller. So let's break this bad boy down quick because I don't have too much to say about this one. Similarly, yeah. You go first, bro.
I mean, I'm looking at Donald Cerrone's. Look at that. It was a draw against Nico Price. I guess that's like the most impressive thing that's happened to him in the last 3 years is going to draw with Nico Price and him smoking weed and becoming no contests.
Yeah, I was gonna say he smokes fucking weed too.
And Jim Miller's beaten a couple of young guys recently. And people always say it's one-round Jim Miller, and he is, but he's knocked the last 2 guys out in the second round.
Yeah,
obviously early second round. But and he hasn't been finished by Joe Selecki or Vince Pichel. I mean, neither of them are finishers, but I can't bet on Jim Miller. I think Donald Cerrone's gonna be way bigger than him. And I can't really bet on Donald Cerrone. So, that's where I'm at right there. I'm gonna just sit back and enjoy it. Hopefully. I mean, if Cowboy looks great and he finishes him, man, I'm down to see him maybe one more time against, somebody old too. But if he loses to Jim Miller, after he's beaten him, and he used to he dominated him kind of in the first one. He knocked him out the head kick. So I'm gonna lean Cowboy. I also think he knows this could be his last fight if he doesn't show up too.
Yeah. I mean, I want to lean Cowboy because he has the size, height advantage. He's gonna have the weight advantage. Probably have the height advantage. Have the reach advantage. I mean, they're pretty much same age, same career fights. I don't know. I just probably I'm not betting on this fight. If I had to pick a side, I'm probably choosing Jim Miller just for the sole fact that he's had more success as of late. And MMA is such like a momentum sport, and when you're feeling good, like you can kind of build on that. Whereas Cowboy, especially if this is his last fight, like what is he fighting for? He's fighting for like this last hoorah, but he's had 2 crazy weight cuts down to 155 in like the past month. I don't know. I think. Yeah. I mean, it's an obvious stay away in my opinion. I think this is a straight stay away. Just unless you want to fight doesn't go the distance or under like 2.5, which fight doesn't go the distance like minus 190, minus 200. Under 2.5 is like minus 155. But that's still, I guess that's not too bad. Under 2.5, if you want to try and lay that. Under 2.5 on here is the line set at mine. They're under 1.5. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm going Jim Miller. You're going Cerrone. It's a gross fight. It'll be fun to watch. Don't get me wrong, but it's gross from a betting perspective. And gross from a breakdown.
It's all narratives. Reading what narrative is better, whichever suits you. Can't really bet on that.
All right. Let's move on to a big banger. We have one of the biggest weight bullies in all of the MMA, Jalen Turner, the Tarantula, against Brad Quake Riddell. Jalen Turner is coming in 3 years younger. He is coming in 6 inches taller. 8 inches taller. Sorry, excuse my math. 8 inches taller, which is absurd to think about. And he only has a 4-inch reach advantage. So it's not as big as you would think it would be. But let's not forget, he has those long ass legs, and those kicks are certainly going to play a big role. I think in this fight, in keeping range and keeping Riddell away from him. So that's really the tail of the tape on these guys. It certainly favors Turner. He's younger, he's taller, he's longer. What's there not to love about this guy? He literally looks like he was built in a laboratory. Not only that, I'm pretty sure I was scrolling. I think it was like Wikipedia, which isn't 100% accurate, but they were saying that Jalen Turner was pretty sure Wikipedia Jalen Turner was a black belt in BJJ, so that's pretty dope. And now we have Brad Riddell, who is a stud. Like, I ain't gonna go front. Brad Riddell is awesome. You see his past 5 fights. Viziev, that was an absolute banger till he got caught with the wheel kick. The Dober fight, put it on Dober. It was a great win for him. Alex De Silva lost round 1, came back second 2 rounds, dominated. Magomed Mustafayev won a greasy split decision. It was a great win, though. And then Jamie Malarkey, who Jalen Turner just beat. That was another good win. Nice unanimous decision. So Brad Riddell's fought some good people. He's beat them. He's handled them. I think for me, this simply comes down to it's just Jalen Turner's too big. I think skill for skill, Riddell's probably the better, more technical striker. But I don't think it matters. I think Jalen Turner's so long. Like, Jalen Turner is Israel Adesanya size. Like, that's how big he is, basically. I mean, he's has not as long as arms, and he's an inch shorter, but like he's basically Izzy. And so I have a bet on Jalen Turner here, a money line bet, and then I also sprinkled a little bit on the sub prop. I can tell you what that is, matter of fact, since I'm looking at it right now. I got Jalen Turner 2.3 units to win 2, and then we got like a quarter unit plus 800 on the sub. So
wow, plus 800 you got?
yeah.
It's plus 450 on Bovada. Well, anyways,
it's plus
I like those bets.
It's plus 700 now, so it's dropping even on here.
I like that bet. Yeah, I'm on the same side. I have a straight up midline bet for him. I kind of mimic the same things you say. He's just so much. He's 8 inches taller than this guy. I think he's just gonna look down on it and just start raining shots on him almost. Like the only thing that you can say is he is susceptible to being caught by Brad, but Brad's not really the biggest finisher. So
no,
I totally am gonna have to lean on Jalen Turner to continue the hype train. Man, I could see him getting far up in this division at this rate. He's just so big. He's got amazing jiu-jitsu. He knows how to use it. He knows how to hit people, and his punches hurt. So yeah, I'm totally on Jalen Turner. I'll be riding him money-wise as well.
Yeah, I tweeted it out, but I think that Jalen Turner can challenge. I mean, I don't think he necessarily would challenge. Like, I mean, if you would have put Jalen Turner with those guys on Saturday against like Armin or against Gamrot, like he would give. I'm not saying he would beat them or anything, but he would give them all problems just because he's so big.
Yeah.
Like his skill set is really good, and then his size is just insane. And so it's like, how is a guy 5'7" supposed to beat this man 5'8"? Like it's hard because size matters. He's 180 pounds on Saturday night.
Yeah, he tweeted that out last time. He's like, I don't even know how I make lightweight.
Like it's crazy. We're both.
But he doesn't.
Yeah, we're both on Jalen Turner. We got him early, like minus 120. He's up to minus 140 now, so he is moving up. We got him early. All right, that was the last fight of the prelim. So if you guys are enjoying this, go ahead, like the video, drop a subscribe, comment, question, whatever it is. Love to talk to you guys, interact, whatnot. Appreciate the love. We will move on to the first fight. Misspoke, of the main card. Got Pedro Munoz against Sugar Sean O'Malley. This fight represents weight bully number 2 of the UFC. We got Sean O'Malley standing in at 5'11", 72-inch reach, and the bantamweight division. That's very big for the division, height-wise and length-wise. Everybody he's fought so far, he's pretty much towered over them. So it's been a huge advantage for him, I would say. And again, in this fight, as you can see, he's going to have another huge advantage. He has a 5-inch height advantage. He's going to have a 6-inch reach advantage. He's training out of MMA Lab. Mario Batista just had a big win out of there. Jared Cannonier actually trains out of there. And there's another fighter on this card, I'm pretty sure, who fights out of there. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's a women's fighter, if I'm not mistaken. A women's fighter. Anywho, we have O'Malley's minus 290 on Bovada. Munoz coming back 230. All night I've been kind of on like the underdog train. Like, let's ride the underdogs for a lot of these picks, but this is just not one of them. Yes, the line is wide. Yes, Munoz is a stud. I don't think Munoz is going to have enough for him. I think he's too small. I think it's going to be hard for him to close the range. I think Sean O'Malley is going to be having leg kicks. He's going to have body kicks. He's going to have head kicks. He's going to have kicks up the middle, teep kicks. He's just going to do everything. His jab is going to be on point. I think he's just going to touch up Munoz for 15 minutes. I have a bet on this fight. I have O'Malley in a parlay with somebody else later in the card. And then I also have a bet on Sean O'Malley by decision at plus 150. Thought that was a solid number. I don't think he's finishing Munoz. It's possible. But I think that the UFC wants to see him truly tested against a fighter. He hasn't really been tested, if we're being honest. Skill-wise, he's elite, but I think that they want him to be tested. A nice 15-minute beatdown shows what he can do, and he might get touched up a couple times, might come out of there a little bruised up, and it'll be good for everybody to see that Sean O'Malley isn't invincible, but he can still beat tough opponents in 15 minutes. So I'm riding O'Malley, and that's how it's going to be. What you think, man?
Yeah, definitely riding O'Malley. Definitely have him in a parlay with another guy later in the fight card. I love Sean O'Malley's fighting style. I think he's the most exciting fighter just in terms of like the way he throws strikes and stuff like that in the UFC. Like, man finessed and was dribbling basketballs on Chris Martinho and dropped 230 significant strikes. Fadeaways. I don't know, man. And Chris Martinho's terrible too. So, I mean, how much can you read into that? I don't know, but it was fun to watch. I think he's going to style on Pedro too. I actually kind of think he might finish him. I know Pedro's never been finished before, but I just kind of got this feeling Sean's on another level. He is officially getting close to his prime right now. He's got all the confidence in the world. He's ready to go, man. I think he's going to finish Pedro in, let's say, 2 or 3. I don't think he's going to finish him in the first round.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm really.
The only reason why I don't think he finishes him is because
he's got a cement head. Yeah,
Jose Aldo was literally like beating this man, and he just was not going out. And Jose Aldo hits like a truck, and so that's just like the only thing. But I mean, it's very possible that he finishes him. He's very pinpoint accurate, and he's super quick, and he's way longer, and so
he's so much bigger, dude. Yeah,
so it's definitely possible. I think
Pedro should be a flyweight in my opinion. Like, look at that. His stats suggest flyweight because he's not like got huge legs or anything. But the one thing that I'm worried about is if Sean's legs, if he whips one of those and gets a good connection on Sean's leg, that might change something. But I think he's probably tied up those issues.
Yeah, I think that was just more of a one-off. Like, I think that's just
unlucky.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. So we're on Sean O'Malley there for that first fight on the main card. All right, we're jumping to some OGs here. Next fight, we got Robbie the Ruthless Lawler against Brian Bam Bam Barberena. Lawler is going to be 7 years older. He is going to be at a height disadvantage, and he is going to be at a reach advantage. It is actually Brian Barberena who trains at an MMA lab. I thought it was a woman, but it's Brian Barberena. This fight's interesting. Robbie Lawler really doesn't fight. I mean, he had Neil Magny a year and 9 months ago. Colby Covington 2 years, 3 years, 4. So, I mean, he's literally fighting once a year. He fought 8 months ago. That was his one time in 2021. He's going to fight one time in 2022, probably. I don't know. I can't pick Robbie Lawler. Like, yeah, I just can't do it. He beat Nick Diaz last time, but that was, I mean, Nick Diaz first fight in like 5 years. Um, I think Brian Barberena is the younger fighter. I mean, I don't think I know he is the younger fighter, but I think because he is the younger fighter, um, he's just going to push that crazy pace. He's going to continue to come forward. He's going to throw. I mean, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but Brian Barberena, I'm about to look it up. I'm sorry because I was looking at this earlier today. So he threw 111 significant strikes against Matt Brown, or not through. He landed 111 against Matt Brown. He landed 108 against Darian Weeks. He landed 169 against Vincente Luque, 120 against Worley Alves. So, like, he can land a lot of strikes. And Robbie Lawler is going to be there to get hit. Robbie Lawler got hit a ton by Nick Diaz. So I think it's just going to be a matter of Brian Barberena is going to touch this guy up a lot. And I think it's just going to be a war of attrition, kind of. And Barberena can definitely hang. He can definitely fight and just keep swinging. And I think Lawler, he's 40. I mean, how much longer is this guy going to truly be hanging around the UFC fighting at a high level? I don't suspect very long.
Yeah.
So I'm on the Barberena side here. I'll probably even put a bet in on Barberena. I just have been kind of waiting to see if the line was going to jump to more than plus 100, which it doesn't look like it's moved too much more than what it is right now.
Even right now, what I see.
Yeah, plus 100 and minus 120.
You know, this is one of those fights I could see going to a split decision again. And if it is, I'd want to be on the dog side. But, you know, Brian Barberena lost to Jason Witt. He lost to Jason Witt. That is probably one of the worst losses you could have.
Yeah, I think, like, how I was talking about...
Sorry, go.
No, just in house about Jessica I, like, when it was just bad day at the office. That was just like bad day at the office day.
Yeah. So I kind of am on the same side as you. I mean, he just won a split to Matt Brown. Matt Brown's a 40-year-old. Freaking Robbie Lawler's a 40-year-old, but Robbie Lawler is probably harder to finish than him. So I definitely see this going in the distance, which is, you know, what the line reflects. It's minus 170 to go the distance.
Oh wow, really interesting.
Yeah,
I kind of like around 3 finish.
Around 3 finish. Oh. Well, plus 1,600 for both of them. I mean, honestly, their lines are their finishing props are pretty even.
Yeah, I wish there was just like maybe like a fight to finish in round 3 or something later in the week.
Oh yeah, you can. It's plus 800 winning round, plus 800 round 3.
Yeah, just something like that. Just because, like, I just think that these guys are going to be sitting in a phone booth and throwing. I think they're going to do it for 2 rounds and hang, but come the 3rd round, one of these guys might fall.
All right, I respect that.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm on Barberena. You said Barberena.
Yeah.
So we're on the Barberena side here. Next fights we got. This is where we're really getting to the exciting part. These next 3 fights right here are truly sit your ass on the couch and don't get up fights. Nice. So we got Sean Strickland against Alex Periera. We got Strickland is going to be 3 years younger here. He is going to be shorter and he will have a reach disadvantage, which is not necessarily the greatest thing you want to have against a world-class kickboxer. Periera made his appearance onto the UFC scene with a win over Andres Michailidis with that flying knee kick, and then the win over Bruno Silva. And then Sean Strickland, he's on a big win streak in the UFC right now. I think it's like 7 or 8 wins. Jack Marshman, Brendan Allen, Jotko, Uriah Hall, who will see earlier on the card, and then Jack Hermanson. He won a split. I don't know how that was a split. He definitely won that fight. I don't know what that judge was smoking.
Yeah, I forgot that was even a split.
Yeah, me too. And so this fight, for me at least, it's tough. I mean, I want to say, like, I think this square chalk opinion is like, this is going to be a kickboxing match, and I'm going to take Alex Pereira. It's not, though. It's not a kickboxing match. It's a mixed martial arts fight. And do I think that Sean Strickland's going to come out here and be a Dagestani wrestler? No. But do I think that Sean Strickland can come out here and implement 1 or 2 takedowns in the fight, some clinching up against the cage, some dirty boxing? Like, let's not forget, like, this dude Michailidis won the first round against Alex Pereira. Like, that's not to be forgotten that happened. He got knocked out, but he won the first round. And I think if Sean Strickland could implement a similar game plan, just not play dirty, but fight dirty, just keep him up on the cage, just have a dirty game plan, dirty box, just rough him up, make it really, really ugly. I think Sean Strickland could win. My pick's Sean Strickland. I haven't placed a bet on it yet. I'm 100% going to place a bet on Sean Strickland. I'm just waiting to see if I could hopefully get the line to be a little bit better. My core hesitancy, yes, Sean Strickland's minus 105 now, so I might have missed that. I honestly should have took the line sooner. I have a couple other books, so I'll take a look at those after this. Before I ask you, my one core hesitancy about taking Sean Strickland is the fact that the UFC wants Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. And so there's that. But to that same extent, he's 34 years old and he's only had six professional fights. And that's the difference. And I heard Izzy say, Jiri only had 2 UFC fights, but Jiri also had like 21 professional mixed martial arts fights. That dude had been fighting MMA for a long time. Periera has been fighting MMA for 6 years, and he took a 5-year layoff. You feel me? So it's just a lot different. I'm taking Strickland here. I hope that I can get back. I hope I can get him at plus money again.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's like I can't bet against Sean Strickland. His defense has been really good. His jab keeps people at bay. I mean, he's really not that much like in the reach department smaller than him. I feel like Pereira's gonna have to knock him out to win, which might happen. He's super talented. I haven't watched much of his kickboxing fights, but I did see him knock out Izzy, obviously. So for me, I have to just bet with the more experience. The guy's 25-3 in like mixed martial arts, that being Sean Strickland. So I'm gonna have to ride with him too. I don't know if I'll bet it, just because, like you said, it's not plus money right now, and I thought it would be given how everyone's talking about it. But yeah,
it was plus money. He was plus 105.
I saw plus 105 at one point, and I just wasn't making that bet yet. I didn't do enough research, really.
Dude, that was me too.
I hadn't thought about it yet.
I hadn't watched any of the tape, and I was just like, I don't know if I like this.
He should definitely be able to throw. I think he's definitely going to throw wrestling in there. It's not like he doesn't wrestle at all. Like, he's got an underrated game, and I think Eric Nixick. I know, and he had takedowns in his last fight, but people act like he's not going to go take him down, and that he's like completely an idiot. But he might be. But
4.
I think he doesn't. I think he lacks social awareness, not fight IQ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I think that he's going to end up mixing stuff in, and he's not going to have Eric Nixick yelling at him like, "Take him down, you fucking idiot!" Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think he's going to be listening to his corner. I think he's going to be staying at bay. I think he's going to be able to come in, jab him out.
Yeah.
I think Strickland's going to win the points game probably. I don't think he's going to finish him.
I think the path to victory for Strickland is to make this shit as ugly as possible.
I agree.
I think a
And I
pretty
think he might.
I think a pretty kickboxing fight is going to favor Alex Pereira, and Bruno Silva was tagging up Pereira, so
Oh, looks like we lost you for a sec.
I clicked the back thing on the wrong screen, but Pereira, I was saying that he was getting tagged up by Silva, and I think if Sean Strickland's doing that, it's going to get a lot uglier because Strickland's a lot meaner.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm looking at like Sean, like they don't really know how Sean's going to win if he's going to win because they have plus 275 by points and plus 400 by KO, and then they have Alex Pereira by points plus 400 or him by KO plus 135. So I mean they expect him to win by knockout. Fight going the distance is plus 140.
Jeez.
And I can see it going the distance.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like he beat Bruno Silva and he got rocked, and he also rocked Bruno Silva. So it's not like, I mean, Sean I haven't seen Sean get rocked in any of his past fights.
No, not really. No, I would agree with that. On my local book, they literally have Sean Strickland at plus 100 right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's plus 100.
I'd take that.
Yeah, so I'd probably...
What's Barb?
Plus 105.
That's better than this. I mean, it's hard to tell how it's going to go later in the week.
It is very hard to tell. That's why I'm not really sure how I want to go about it.
That's why I almost feel like I should stay away, but...
Yeah, we'll continue. We'll move on.
It's like I can only write, like, one of these hype trains is going to go down, and I'm not sure which one. You know what I mean? There's like 4 or 5 fighters that are being obviously put in positions like where they're expected to win and hype, like go up higher than like Duplessis, Turner, Gary, Barber. You know what I mean? All of these up and coming fighters.
Yeah, I don't know if Strickland is like. It's like I want to think he's set up to lose, but at the same time, it's like
you can't tell the tape. You can't say that.
Yeah, like you can't tell Sean Strickland like, "Hey, bro, like we really need you to lose, dog." Like Sean Strickland's gonna be like, "Huh, fuck you guys," like, and he's gonna go fight his ass off. So I don't know.
Dana already said winners probably got Izzy next.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I mean, that's the thing is,
too.
I think Pereira, he doesn't need a title fight right now. He can still get a title fight in June of 2023. He loses this fight. He's
getting up there in age, though.
Yeah, he's 34. So I mean,
almost 35.
Yeah. So I mean, he could fight one more time this year or 2 more times this year.
Yeah, he turns 35 in like a week or 2.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move on to the co-main event. We have a trilogy here, y'all. Trilogy. We got Alexander the Great Volkanovski against Max Blessed Holloway. These guys, first time they fought, I watched the tape back. I thought Volkanovski won a decisive victory. I don't think there was any arguments, talks of robbery, nothing like that. But that second fight, I definitely thought Max Holloway won. I don't know. I truly don't really know what the judges saw in that fight. I thought Holloway dominated. I thought Holloway won 4 rounds. I don't know how Holloway lost that fight. But that's beside the point now. Volk's gone on and had 2 good victories. He had the one big victory against Brian Ortega where he almost lost with that guillotine choke, but got out of it. And then he put the beat down on Korean Zombie. Then Holloway, all he really has is those 2 losses. Those are the big blemishes. He had an amazing win against Calvin Kattar, set like a UFC record for strikes. And then he fought Yair Rodriguez. That was an impressive win, I think. I've seen and heard some people say that like he should have handled him a lot better, but Rodriguez is good. Rodriguez is a very quality striker. He's a top-notch featherweight. He would give Volk problems too, I think. So I don't think that should be held against him. And he won that fight, and he won a unanimous decision. So it's not like he didn't handle his business. Tail of the tape wise, Volk is going to be older. He's 3 years older. He is going to be smaller in height. He has a 5-inch height disadvantage, but he has a 1.5-inch reach advantage, which is so odd. Volk is built like he's an orangutan or like a chimpanzee. Like truly, he's little but just massive long arms. And so I don't know which way I'm leaning. I'm going to let you talk. What do you think? And then I want to hear your thoughts, and then I'll give you my pick.
Part of me feels like, this is Volk's time, yada, yada, yada. Like he's lost 1 fight. I don't even think it was in the UFC. No, it wasn't. And then the other part of me is that last fight, I think Max won, but at the same time, I feel like Volk could just end him and end it, even though Max has never even been knocked down, which makes me hard to believe. So, honestly, like I feel like from a betting perspective, you have to take the underdog here, considering that both their fights went to the decision and they're pretty freaking close. So
yeah,
that's kind of like where you got to take it. I mean, if you could, maybe if you truly believe it's going to go, the full distance, why not, throw in like over 3.5 or something like that into a parlay, which would be minus 275, you know what I mean? Or fight completes 4 rounds, minus 250. That's how I feel. But it's a mixed martial arts fight. Anything can happen, but I think I'd just take a dog in a close fight, which it's probably going to be again.
Yeah, and that's how I feel too. Is like this fight's gonna be close, and I don't know why. Might as well take the dog. I find it interesting though, because you look back at their fights, and they were supposed to fight at on the Usman card, right? Mm-hmm. But they didn't. I'm just trying to see like what their line was last time they fought, but it literally like doesn't show it. Oh, I see it. It's down here for some reason. So their first time they fought in 2019, Volk was a plus 175 underdog. Holloway was a minus 245, and Volk came through and won that fight as a huge dog. And then came back and was a big favorite. Was like a minus. I can't find it, but he was a favorite. Now he's a minus.
Yeah, his favorite both times, right?
The first time, no. The first time he was a plus 175 underdog.
Well, he won the second fight, so no, I'm playing.
But yeah, this fight Volk opened up minus 146. So basically this fight, I think, yeah, like you said, you have to pick the dog in the fight because it's going to be close. It's going to go to decision. I highly doubt there's going to be a finish. Initially I was all over the Volk side. But the more I've just thought about it, the more I've really,
I mean,
just really.
I know
What?
they both have fought like pretty two tough fights since their last time they met, but you know, I think Calvin Kattar and Yair Rodriguez would both give Alexander Volkanovski way tougher fights than Chen Sung-jung. But Brian Ortega, he dominated Brian Ortega kind of outside of that one submission attempt.
Yeah, for the most part.
But Max Holloway dominated him too. So it's. Yeah. I think you got to ride the dog. It's gonna be a close fight. I doubt someone gets finished.
I mean, I think this is very similar to the middleweight division. You have Izzy, Robert Whittaker. You have Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway. Only difference is there's a very marginal or a very minor gap between these two. It's a very thin line between how much better Volk is than Holloway or vice versa. And then obviously Israel's a decently sized better than Whittaker. I think the last fight didn't show it, but I also think Izzy he's fucking Izzy. He bullshits. He plays around. He doesn't care sometimes.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't want to. Sometimes you can tell he doesn't want to be doing this, but he's so good that he knows he has to train his ass off and just do it. Anyways, so I'm gonna go Holloway. I think just not even from a betting perspective, just a straight pick. I think I'm going to go Holloway. I think he won the last one. I think he's fought the better competition since they last fought. I think that he's going to come in here, and I think when this is a 5-round fight, I think he's just going to pace him, and Volk is going to be able to keep up. He was able to keep up the last couple times, but I think Holloway, he showed us in the Kattar fight and even in the Yair fight that he's hit another gear of output when it comes to strikes. And so I'm going to go Holloway here. I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if Volk wins this fight. I'm probably not even going to bet on this fight. I really just want to sit on the couch and watch 25 minutes of these guys just punching each other in the face with great technical striking and kicking because this shit's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to this fight. This is probably the fight I'm most excited for on the card just because I know it's going to be just high-level striking, high-level fight. We're probably not going to get too much grappling. It's going to be a fun one.
If Max Holloway if he gets to like plus 175 specifically, I think I'm going to probably lay some money on him.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely...
Because Volk isn't a finisher, man, and this guy's got he's got an iron chin, man. He's never been knocked down. He's fought Dustin Poirier. He's fought Conor McGregor. He's fought, you name it. He's knocked out Jose Aldo twice. Like, he's just on another level, man.
Max Holloway is plus 180 on BetOnline.
Sheesh. Well, you might want to wait to see if he gets to plus 200 then. Because, I mean... Volk, when I first looked at it, I think he was like minus 150 or something like that. Or was he always above that? It was at least minus 170, I think.
He opened minus 146.
Yeah. So I saw him at minus 150. So he's been getting kind of juiced.
Yeah, Holloway's not really. I mean, Caesars has Holloway plus 175. Holloway got juiced. I mean, Volk got juiced on Caesars pretty big. Yeah, I mean, Holloway's literally, most places have him like 150. So plus 180 is like a...
Yeah, that's a pretty good number.
I might honestly put like half unit or a unit on that. Just...
He's younger than him by 3 years too. Like...
Yeah, I like that. Plus 180. I might give that a shot. All right, last and final fight of the night. We have our second title fight. We have our second 5-round fight of the night. And we have our second straight, says Nigeria, but it's fighting out of New Zealand. We got our second straight Oceanic boy fighting. So we got Israel, the last style bender Adesanya against Jared, the killer gorilla, Cannonier. This fight right here, I'm excited for it because I think Izzy's going to get a knockout. And that is why I'm excited. Izzy is going to hold the 5-inch the 5-inch height advantage. He is going to have a 2.5-inch reach advantage. He's going to be 6 years younger. We'll say 5 because he's about to turn. But whatever, 5-6 years age difference. The way I break this down is I watched a couple of Cannonier's fights back. I watched the Brunson fight, watched the Whitaker fight. I watched a little bit of the Gastelum fight. I watched a little bit of the Jack Hermanson fight to the finish. He wants to strike. He's not trying to wrestle. He's not trying to grapple. That's not what he wants to do. And the way to beat Izzy, I mean, I don't really know how you beat Izzy, but my guess is the way you beat Izzy is to hold him down and keep him down because it's not going to be to strike with him. Cannonier is also training out at MMA Lab, as I said earlier. So they've been training. Their whole camp is pretty at it. The same with City Kickboxing. They got a couple guys that are also training. So both fight camps are pretty amped up fight camps. I expect this to be a kickboxing match for the most part. When you go back and watch Cannonier's fights, he's not very fast. He doesn't have a lot of speed. He does have power, but he's just not fast. And Israel he has insane reflexes. I have a hard time believing that Cannonier is going to be able to just tee off on Israel. And so I'm taking Israel Adesanya here. Israel Adesanya is my second play in my parlay with Sugar Sean O'Malley. I think I have both of them at minus 134 for like 5 units. So it's my biggest play I think I've ever laid. It is on a parlay. It's on a chalk parlay. It's on a chalk parlay that I feel very confident in. Sean O'Malley, great matchup. UFC. There's a couple guys like Jay said that there's hype trains and that some are going to be stopped. I think Alex Periera is a decent chance of that because he's fighting a guy who also could still contend for a title. If Pedro Munez wins and beats Sean O'Malley, like, what the fuck are they going to do with Pedro Munez? It's just going to complicate things more than anything. It's not going to help shit. So I think having Sean O'Malley win, it's just going to continue to boost what the UFC wants to do. Continue to market him. Continue to market themselves. And then we have Israel Adesanya. I don't see how he loses this fight. I think he's getting a knockout. I have Israel Adesanya inside the distance. I have Israel Adesanya by to win inside the distance, just like a little bit to win 1 unit. I think it was like plus 150 odds. I think he finishes him. The lines are so juiced. The books, I think the books think he finishes him. Plus 150 is not very high for Israel Adesanya finish, considering he's not really going out here and finishing people. So that's how I feel about this fight. I think Izzy gets it done. I think Izzy gets it done handedly. Maybe round 2. I mean, I could see a round 1 finish. Brunson had him devastatingly hurt. Had Cannonier hurt. Shabazian. That was Uriah Hall, wasn't Shabazian? Yeah, that was Uriah Hall. I'm sorry. Misspoke. But he just Cannonier's it's just a bad matchup.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I'm feeling too. And Jared's been hurt in both of his last 2 fights. He's recovered well because he's in such amazing shape.
Yeah.
But like Derek Brunson hurt him, and I don't even think Derek had anything for Izzy when they fought. So I'm also leaning towards Izzy. Probably inside the distance. I mean, I feel like he's going to definitely be cautious, but he's just going to be so much quicker, and he takes care of these older guys in the middleweight division that he has large, height advantages and length advantages against. It's just going to be too quick. He's a style bender, man. The last style bender. This guy's... Jared doesn't stand a chance, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna ride. I'm also riding that parlay with Sean O'Malley and Izzy, along with my singles. I think you're riding 2 of Dricus Duplessis and Jalen Turner. Then I also have the Duplessis fight under 2.5 at plus 105. I couldn't get fight doesn't go the distance at like I think plus 115. You said or something like that.
I got
didn't get that.
Yeah, something close to that.
Yeah, so I couldn't get that, but I got under 2.5 just because I think Duplessis probably finishes him.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so we're both on Izzy. This fight card, y'all, it's a banger. We have some fun cards. It's great for the middleweight division. Middleweight division is kind of boring right now in the UFC. We have the title fight. We have Sean Strickland, Periera. We have Uriah Hall, Munez, and we also have Tavares and Duplessis. So we have 4 middleweight fights Saturday.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, right. Definitely going to get some middleweight blood. Definitely going to get a feel for what the middleweight division, can look like in a year or 2 down the line. I mean, we have some young stars, O'Malley, Ian Gary, Macy Barber.
The future is bright, right?
Yeah, the future is bright. Even Jalen Turner's kind of young. How old is he again? He's
27.
Yeah, 27. So he's young. So much more to grow. I mean, even Israel Adesanya is 32. Like, he's still not young, but he's young for fighting. I mean, he still has at least 4 or 5 more years than him, probably.
Yeah.
At like elite top level fighting.
Yeah.
But that's our picks today, boys and girls. Our bets are pretty similar. Jay's and I's, kind of square. I will have other bets. I'll have some underdog bets. I'll probably have a Sean Strickland dog play. I will probably have a Gabe Green dog play. Probably have a Max Holloway dog play. I'll probably have a Jessica I dog play. And if the crazy bettors out there, if y'all get Julia Storlyarenko to plus 200, I'll probably have a dog play on her because I think this card has a lot of live dogs. I think the favorites are obvious, but there's a lot of live dogs who have potential to win. Do you have any last comments, things to say before we sign off here, bro?
Nope. Like and subscribe helps us out a lot. Best of luck to everyone their bets. And go UFC 276 International Fight Week, baby. Let's get some money.
Yes, sir. International Fight Week. Let's get some money. Best of luck to everyone. You can follow me at AntPixem on Twitter. I post my picks, pictures, whatnot. Other than that, we appreciate everybody watching, and we will catch you next time. So you have a good night. Salute. Enjoy UFC 276, everyone.